Our speaker, our guest speaker today is Danny Brock. He's currently serving in the Hawaiian mission as a chaplain and also as a missionary that helps Pacific people find employment and teach them how to get employment. So he fits right into what we're doing in our SCEP Foundation for the Africans. Danny was born in Huntington Beach, California. He served a mission in New York State. I'm not sure which mission, but probably Manhattan.
New York City.
He was an assistant there. Danny then met a young lady and came to Utah State who was a mutual friend of mine. And he ended up marrying Kelly Keat, who is now Kelly Keat Brock. And they have 3 children, and I don't know how many grandchildren.
9.
9 grandchildren. Danny went to work out of Utah State with his father-in-law in a small business and kind of ran the sales and marketing department for a long period of time. During that same period of time, he worked in both the scouting program and became the highest level of scout in the Boy Scouts of America. And he also served in the Rotary International, where he was the district governor. In that position, he worked closely with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and had opportunities to work with the 70s, and also met and worked with President Gordon Bittner Hinckley. And after his service as governor of the Rotary District, he was called to serve as the mission president in Durban, South Africa, where he served for 3 years. He came home from his mission and worked for the church employment system for probably 10 or 15, 20 years. I don't know. How long was that, Danny?
16.
16. And then after that, he was called to serve in a mission in Hawaii, where he and his wife are now. So with that, Danny, thank you for coming and participating in our presentation. And I think you can go ahead and start your presentation.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate that Neil would ask me to come and visit with all of you. I know your time is precious and you've got other things to be doing, but and I don't know each of you. I don't know your story. I don't know if you're looking for work, if you're looking for better work, if you want to start a business or start a side business or something. Whatever it might be, I can answer questions when we get to that point. I wanted to show you a couple of resources that you can go online and find help and assistance with. I've got some resumes here. Neil, is there something? I mean, we've discussed this day, but what would be your target for so that I don't not speak about what everybody needs?
Well, everybody's in a little different situation and position, and today, I think if you just followed the topic that you gave us to discuss, excuse me, would be the direction you would want to take, because it would apply to everybody, and even the ones that will log onto the video later can use that as a reason to oh, I want to learn about this topic. So just
okay. Is there any way you've got the attachments that I sent to you? Can we share the screen and can we share your screen and get one of those to come up?
Do you have it on yours?
I can get. I apologize if it appears as though I don't know what I'm doing, but I really do.
Because we usually share your screen.
Okay, I just need to. Can we? did I go away or my,
Have you frozen?
no,
Studying.
I'm trying to get, I don't know, can you, let's see, can I share my screen? I'm looking for,
You should be able to share your screen at the bottom. There's a green arrow that says share screen, and you should be able to click that. I've enabled you to share.
yeah, I'm looking for it and I'm not seeing the,
Can you see the bottom where it says there's like by the mute and video participants?
yeah, there's not on my screen, I don't have that. Uh,
Do we have his slides, Neil?
We do. I've had them on my screen. Can I share my? How do I
Yeah,
share my?
I can make it so you can share. Okay, Neil, you'll be able to share now as well.
Let me try to share this screen.
I've got,
Did that work?
yeah, that's the one.
All right.
So,
Well,
oh,
I hit the wrong button. Oh, crud. What did I do wrong?
you know
Share?
what? I've got my,
I don't know.
click on the, click, can you see, do you see the third one down, Neil? Says my name. What I'm looking at is the
Oh
power.
yeah, there's his PowerPoint, the employment email.
All right, I'm gonna go out of here. I'm gonna go to here. That one?
I think it's the other one.
Let's
That one?
let's go to this one. Yeah. Okay, I can. Are we okay there? Can everybody see that one?
Yep.
So Neil, you're going to have to be my clicker.
All right, I can be your clicker.
Okay,
I
so
hope.
this was just a little presentation I put together here. And let me tell you folks, I sent Neil three different, I believe it was three, presentations that all have a little bit of different information, but they're little quick help tips. But let me back up a little bit. Neil's introduction was spot on. I've got a degree in international business. My wife, who was actually kind of dating Neil before I showed up, and I mean, look at him smile. He knows I took her away from him. I cut his grass. That's what we like to say. I cut his grass. And Neil has been a great friend ever since. Well, that was been in 1977. So we've gone a lot of dirt roads we've been on together, and our wives and children even know each other, and so it's been a lot of fun. And I would do anything for Neil. So I'm glad to be here. It's my working career has been, like Neil said, I got out of college. Kelly had a nursing degree, and she ended up in labor and delivery. So she's been delivering babies since 1979, when she got her nursing license. And I helped my father-in-law run a little $3 million business manufacturing company. And I was in sales and marketing, hiring, firing, inventory, supply chain, those kind of things to keep a business running. And I had three brother-in-laws that did other things, and together we had this wonderful business that's still going. And when I came home, so I worked at this manufacturing company and got called to be a mission president. I was 47, and I got a call from the church headquarters, and they wanted to visit with Sister Brock and I, and we said yes to the invitation. And the next July, we found ourselves in Durban, South Africa, having probably the greatest adventure of our married life. And And we ended up doing a lot of things that mission presidents, I found out later, don't normally do. And that was to get their missionaries work and jobs. After about 90 days of being a mission president, do we have returned missionaries with us, Neil?
Probably most of them.
Okay, are you all returned mission president? I mean, you all know about a mission president, what they do? Yeah?
Yeah.
And so I started to hear from headquarters in Johannesburg that some of my best missionaries were going home after they were released and going inactive. They stopped going to church, and I wanted to find out why. So I started making phone calls and visits, and I had a lot of African missionaries from 15 or so different African countries that came to South Africa, and Durban specifically, to serve with me. And when I found out what was going on, it turned out that my missionaries were going home after they were released, and they would find themselves unemployed. After joining the church and deciding that they wanted to go on mission, where for 2 years, life was really good. They got an allotment of so much money. They could buy food and clothing and transportation. They had beautiful apartments to live in, and they were really well respected and thought highly of as church leaders as they were missionaries. Well, when they got released and went home, the allotment went away. So they had no more money. Unemployment was very high. And so when their suits wore out, when their shoes wore out, when they got some PEF money to go to school, they couldn't repay it because they didn't have any work. So I started to find my missionaries that were going home work before they even left the mission. So if one of you had been one of my missionaries, if you needed this, and I had an exit interview with all my missionaries, and if they needed a job, I started to work on getting them introduced to companies like airports, shopping centers, doctor's offices, lumber yards, macro, just different companies that would put them to work in various activities so that they could earn some money. Well, when I got home from my mission in Africa, I was approached by the presiding bishopric, and they said, Elder Brock or President Brock, that we want you to do in the welfare department what you've been doing in Durban, and that is help people find jobs. And so I got really good at that and went to work for the church. The last 16 years, I've been running the North American Employment Centers. Do you all have an employment center close to where you stay? Yeah, that you're getting help with, and missionaries typically run those centers, and they help people with their job skills, interviewing skills, writing resumes, practice interviewing, cover letters, and talking about different approaches and which jobs to apply for, and using LinkedIn and other social media to find work, how to network. One of the biggest things that you can do is to network. Networking is the like 70%, 80% of jobs are found through networking, while 20% of the jobs are found through newspapers, ads in LinkedIn or other social media. So networking, my brothers, I don't know if there's more than one sister on or not, but networking is the best thing that you can do, is to improve your skills in speaking, in writing, practice your English, and apply for as many jobs as possible. It's a numbers game. The more you apply, the better your chances of getting a job. And the more that you approach people that you know, or that will introduce you to people that they know, the more you do that, the greater your success at finding someone that will invite you to come and work for them. So when I well, it was a couple of years ago. It was spring or so of 2022. I noticed, because Hawaii was a part of what I had uh, that I worked with. I knew that they needed some help in their career center where I'm at, and where you see now. I wonder if I can show you. There's my office, or I'm sitting in my office, but we call that the career studio. And I don't know if you can see outside, the sun's just coming up, but that's my world out there. I have 15 students that are career mentors that I manage, and they help other students on campus with their skills and finding the right major in their college assignments. And we put a lot of people to work. We have job fairs, and we speak to classes about the things that we offer. And you can tap into some things I'll show you in a minute. But let's go through this, Neil. Let's pop through this. Some slides will apply and some will not. You can see here on this first slide that, help. And we're going to look at tips and tricks and interviewing recommendations. Elder, if you'll click up, Neil, Elder and Sister Nye, and there's Sister Brock and myself in a terrible picture of me. I really hate this. Look, I've got a little something on my face. I'm working at the dermatologist, so you can see my cute little wife there. Next slide, Neil. And these are just introductions for this group of slides that we're using. So here's tips for a great interview. Be on time. The worst thing that you can do in looking for a job is to be late. It's a terrible way to make a first impression. Sometimes you just can't help it. Sometimes you get stuck on the freeway. Sometimes you get cattle in the road, or whatever it might be. But you've got to figure out some way to get to your appointment on time, and looking properly for the position that you're applying for. Some positions you can dress a little casual, and some you better put your church clothes on. If you're going to apply for a job with the church, if you want to, do a job, Sister, Skep is what I've got here, but Sister, what was your name, please?
Kate?
Yes. You are, oh, your name, please.
Oh, my name is Kate.
Kate?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know each other, Kate?
I don't know. I don't think so.
What's your surname?
Carabine.
Carabine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you work for Pathway?
I don't work for Pathway. Nope. But I associate a lot with Pathway. So Scott, my coworker, and I founded SCEP. And these are a lot of our students, but we partner with BYU Management Society to put on these webinars.
So SCEP is a company that
It's a company. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're helping people find jobs, or teaching them job skills, or?
Yep. Preparing individuals to access jobs. So equipping them with skills and then connecting them with remote opportunities.
Well, then you and I do the same thing, only I pay to do my job. You get paid to do yours. So thank you for that, Kate. And am I right or am I right? It's poison if you're not on time.
You're right. You're very right. Very important.
Yeah, plan on being a little bit early, but not too early. And remember that your job interview will start as soon as you pull into the property or as soon as you walk into the building. People are at their desks, like Brother Whitaker and Kate are, and you all. They're at their desks, they're working, and they look outside, and here comes this person to have their job interview, and they're watching you. What are you doing? Are you fussing with your makeup? Are you fussing with your hair? Are you getting ready to come in? Are you blowing your nose? Whatever it might be. Be ready as soon as you hop out of your car, or as soon as you get off the bus or get off the train, or as soon as you park your bike or whatever transportation you have used to get to your interview. Make sure that you're ready to go, because as soon as you step on that property, that your interview has just started. Number two there, know the interviewer's name. Make sure you spell it right and you pronounce it right. And for me, I was in Africa in 2004 when I started my mission. Here it is 2024. It's actually right now, it's 20 years ago this month that I went to Africa to be a mission president. And it took me a little while to get my ear attuned to different languages. In my mission, there was Sotho, Northern Sotho, Zulu, Xhosa, Afrikaans, English, all these different languages, and I had to get my ears attuned to what, for example, I can say Spencer, but I have to look at Spencer. Are you there? You've got your headphones on. Can you? Oh, there you are. Yeah, you're there. So Spencer, I can say, but Edie Mundia, I don't know. How do you say your last name, Spencer?
Idemia.
So that's as close as I can get, Edie Mundia. And so it will take me a little while to get my ears attuned. So make sure you do your homework and you learn how to say someone's name or spell it. Number three, bring several copies, printed copies of your resume, including a list of references. Have them separate. Have your resume separate from your references. Have a list of questions that you've written down in advance that you're going to ask about this company. Miss Job person, tell me about your company. What's your biggest problem in regards to the position I'm interviewing for? What would you expect my day to look like? My every day at work, what would you think it's going to look like? What would you expect me to do? Just different questions that will tell the interviewer that you've at least looked at their website, that you know how big their company is. For example, this university that I work for now, or that I'm on a mission with, there's 3,000 students. These 3,000 students speak 70 different languages. There's I'm losing it here, but if you were to ask me questions about this university, I could tell you, mostly about it. But be ready to talk about the company that you're going to work for, because you need to know what you're getting yourself into should they offer you the job. Greet the interviewer with a good handshake and a smile. Be familiar with the job description, and keep good eye contact and try to build some rapport. I know in my mission down in South Africa, it was very difficult for my missionaries, the elders and the sisters, to keep eye contact. When I was having an interview with one or more of my missionaries, it was very difficult for me to get them to look at me. It was considered rude and impolite for a young man or a young lady to look at an adult to look at their face, to look at them in the eye. So you've got to overcome that somehow, because you want to make sure that you have a good greeting, that you have a good firm handshake, that you have the right clothes on, and that that you at least make a little bit of eye contact, that you build some rapport. You look around their office. For example, you can see that there's a painting on my wall. That was placed there by the school so that I would have a little bit of decoration in my office. And they picked that out of many different paintings because they thought that it fit what I was doing. It's the Tahitian prince in chief, and they thought that I was a little bit of a prince, and so they put a prince up on the wall. You might come into my office and say, Elder Brock, tell me about that painting. Why is that there? And you're building rapport. Tell me about your hook. You can see that's a Hawaiian Polynesian hook that they used to use for fishing. Where did that hook come from, Elder Brock? Why do you have that in your office? What does it mean to you? And just establish some rapport. Neil, click through another one.
Oh. Where'd it go?
Did it go away?
Well, it's not showing.
Neil, you could try opening it at the top where it says open with Google Slides.
All right, so where does it say that? Open with Google Slides?
At the very top in the middle.
Ah. I'm not a genius at this.
Yeah, Neil, we should have practiced. Next time we do this, we'll practice.
All right.
We were both a little busy. I'm gonna show you a couple of examples.
There's one. There's the next one.
Oh, okay. So here we are. We're back. We're back on the tips. Tell the truth. Make sure that everything that you have on your resume, make sure that everything that you have on your resume is truthful. This student's name is Boldahar. He's from Mongolia, and this is a very nice resume. It's very clean. You can see it's very clean. It's sharp. It's got a summary. It's got his education and experience. If you are going to make some statements, make sure you're telling the truth, because someone may in their HR department go through this list, do some fact finding, and find out that maybe you didn't have all of the information here absolutely correct, and that will get your resume thrown out of the interview list, and you'll be looking again. So make sure that you're telling the truth. Number 7, anticipate interview questions and practice. I'm an example right now of not practicing, and it's just really smart to have someone, a family member or a friend, to practice interviewing with you. A lot of times we don't want our families to help us with a job search because they're typically a little easy on us. They're a little kinder, they're a little patient, where an interviewer may not be. And Kate, now that I know what you're doing for your career, please jump in if I tell an untruth, or if you have something to add to this from Skep, please jump in, okay?
This looks great, but
Number 8, be prepared. And you're welcome to I sent Neil 3 slide decks, and they're all for different things that we can have another meeting like this sometime, whenever you want, Neil, and we'll focus in on some specifics. Right now, Neil and I thought we'd talk about some generalities. Number 8, be prepared with examples of your work, volunteer experience, and success stories. So the examples of your work, you might want to put together a portfolio. Please, can I just have, if everyone will unmute their microphones and just speak out what kind of a job you're looking for. IT, manufacturing, supply chain, whatever it might be, please shout them out.
Customer care.
Customer service.
Data analytics.
Yes.
What else?
Data analytics.
Okay, another.
Medical coding.
Oh, okay, okay. Kate, what did you do before you got into SCEP?
I did customer and employee experience, but I studied exercise science. So kind of all over.
Okay, so with that, you could spin a resume for just about anything, right?
I get creative.
Yeah. Neil, does everybody know what you did before you got your volunteer work?
Probably not.
Just in a word, what was it?
I did corporate sales training.
High end. Neil was very high end corporate sales training, training executives of multi-million, maybe even billion-dollar jobs. And you've got to be very sharp at that, and you've got to practice your craft. You'll hear that word as you look for a job. Get good at your craft. Whatever it is, whatever job you're trying to get, show some examples of what you've done in the past that will help you in the future. Talk about your volunteer experience. Neil and I, and most of you now, as it turns out, have got some volunteer experience. Just in a couple of words, Neil, what experience would you say on your resume for your volunteer experience? Okay. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
Yeah.
you've served a couple of times in different nonprofit organizations.
Well, the Rotary International was an opportunity that I took while still working to do volunteer work for the Rotary International, and we did projects in our local community, and we did regional projects, and we even had international projects that we did in the Caribbean while I was living close enough to the organization to participate.
So folks, can you see how? I mean, just that a couple of seconds. If Neil had to say that verbally, or if he had to put it in a interview resume, or in a reference letter, whatever it might be that you're putting your volunteer experience, that was very, very powerful. It was very compelling. We're with someone. It was easy to see that he had a craft in corporate sales training that someone on the other side of the table would probably say to him, tell me a little bit more about that. Show me something. And Neil could have with him some photos, a link to a website, the Rotary website, his local Rotary website, his regional Rotary website, or even your volunteer as a church missionary. You can call that volunteer service for a nonprofit organization where you helped 15 different salespeople, whatever you want to call them, which would be, you would be the district leader or the zone leader or the assistant to your mission president. And you've whatever jobs you had, you can spin those to be something at that job or in the corporate world. Or you could just say that you did a volunteer 2-year missionary experience for your church. Companies love to see people that volunteer, and have some stories. They call it SAR, SAR. Do you use that? Kate, do you use situations, action, and results, SAR?
We don't too much. We have a worker readiness program that goes over kind of resumes and interviews and internships, or not internships. What's the other one? Resumes, interviews, like remote work. But we don't use SARS, but I like it. It's good.
Well, I usually, it's either
Incorporate it.
STAR, it's either STAR or SAR. I like SAR.
Use stars.
Situation,
Use star before.
situation, action, and result. So what that does, folks, is when the interviewer says to you, tell me a little bit about this volunteer experience. What did you do? And you can say something like, well, ma'am, I'm really glad you asked about that. This volunteer work that I do with this organization is called Rotary International is very important to me. And there was a certain situation in our little city where at Christmas time, they had to find a company that would set up some decorations on the main street, and they just didn't have anybody to do it because the city employees were working on other things. So my Rotary Club volunteered to do that. So the situation was my little hometown was out of people to do a certain project for Main Street. The action I took was I rallied around this job. I spoke to 20 of my Rotary Club friends, and in fact, I spoke to 20, but I got 25 people to come. The action was that I got 25 people to come on Main Street. The result was within a couple of hours, we had all of the light bulbs going on the Christmas trees going down State Street of Logan, Utah. And so there's a situation, an action, and a result. And so, and you can even say that, you know, if Kate was interviewing me, I could say, gosh, Kate, I'm so happy that you asked me about that. One of the funnest things, one of the most gratitude feeling things I had was this time that I worked for my city. The situation was this. The action I took was this, and the result was awesome. It made it so that the little kids had this opportunity to play in the pumpkin patch, whatever it might be. I don't know what, you know, you could help in your town. You could volunteer at the clinic to give polio vaccinations, whatever it might be. But be ready with an example of your work. Talk about your volunteer experience and have some success stories. In fact, not only that, have some failure stories. Kate, I'd like to tell you about a time, or you could say, well, Danny, that sounds pretty nice, but, and I can tell you're a hard worker, but have you ever had an experience where you didn't do so good? And how did you come out of it? Well, I do, Kate. I blew it one time. I added a 0 to an order that I made in my supply chain work. I added a 0 and ended up with 100 of these products when I only needed 10. My boss was so angry with me, but the action I took was to go and talk to the company that I ordered from personally. I shipped them back and paid the shipping out of our company funds, so that they're coming back to you at no cost, and you can restock them. I need 10, I don't need 100. And Kate, I was so embarrassed. I'll never do that again. So can you see what I'm saying? Be ready to talk about something that you did well and a failure that you had, where a job that you were to perform and maybe you didn't do it well. But when you talk about the one that you didn't do well, please make sure that you talk about what you learned. And you'll say, Kate would say, Danny, what did you learn from that experience? That sounds awful. Well, what I learned was to double check my invoices or look at my packing slips or whatever it might be, so that I don't order 100 instead of 10. Dress, number 9 on our list there, dress according to the company and the position. Oh, and by the way, Neil and Kate, there's been some, I don't know if you've seen them, but there's some things in the chat about people looking for certain jobs. Do you see them down there? I'd love to be involved in those. If you want to call me back sometime, Neil, and maybe we can help out. Maybe you and I can run over those and see if there's
Let's
something I
chat,
can.
Danny. I would love to chat about that.
Do you see where they're at though?
Yes, I do. Mhm.
Kate, I'd love to visit with you and see if there's something I can, or we can do together here in Hawaii
That would be great. Yep.
or in Salt Lake.
An email.
I'll have to tell you one thing I bring to the table. I don't do a lot of things very well. I can play baseball and I can ride dirt bikes, and I can carve walking sticks. And Neil can attest to all 3 of those things.
Yes, I can.
I'm short, I'm old, and I don't do things anymore that are very good. But I can help people find jobs, and I'd love to help out any way that I can with you if you'll just give me a call sometime. Neil knows how to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Do that. Thanks.
So anyway, get down to if you'll look in the chat there, I can't see it, but I've seen them come up in the chat below. Yeah, there's one from Paul. He's looking for a virtual assistant, administrative assistant type of position. So guys and ladies, if you'll put your notes down there, I'm sure we can in a future meeting talk more about that. Dress according to the company and the position. Like I say, when I worked for the church, I had 17 white shirts hanging in my closet and 8 suits. I had 8 suits hanging up in my closet, 17 white shirts, and maybe 5 casual shirts. Now I've got about 18 of these, and I've got 2 white shirts and 2 suits that I wear on Sunday. And so be prepared to dress according to the company standards. If you're interviewing for the church, put on your Sunday best, shine your shoes, wear a nice tie, get ready for an interview, but be professional and look your Sunday best. If you're going to work for, let's say a retail store where they sell building material, you might want to wear better than Levi's, but maybe khakis, maybe some nice slacks, a nice button-up shirt. The rule of thumb is they say that you should dress one step above the position you're trying to apply for. One step above the position you're trying to apply for. Keep your answers concise, focused, stay on task. That is one of the worst things that I do is I'll go talk about that painting with my interviewer for the next 20 minutes just because I talk too much. So keep your answers concise and focused. Number 11, don't speak negatively of past employees. That is, brothers and sisters, that's the death nail. Even if the interviewer gives you an open door to talk bad about the competition or your former boss, don't do it. If you're interviewing for a position at this retail level, sorry?
That was
Okay.
just an echo. Good.
If you're interviewing for lumber company number 1, because you just left lumber company number 2, the interviewer says to you, that company number 2 has got the worst leadership I've ever seen. Well, there's an open door for you to talk bad about your boss. You could say, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Jennifer. The boss I had was awful. That's why I'm leaving. This boss was so terrible. Don't do it. Just, if someone says that company is awful, how did you find that company? You've got to say something like, well, it provided a living for me for, until now. I've got a nice job, and, of course, I'd like to improve myself, and I'm always looking for opportunities, but, I think I did pretty good there. And then go on to the next one. But please don't talk about, or if you're applying for a church, I hear this a lot when I was hiring for the church. I did a lot of hiring in my welfare department for the church, and I would hear a brother or a sister tell me terrible things about their lead person, their boss, their coworker. They talk very negative about the director, or maybe even our leaders, our apostles, our prophets. I've heard terrible stories from some of these interviewees, and that was the death nail. As soon as they left and the door shut, their resume went into the can, or the don't worry about pile. Never talk about your past employers. Ask for next steps. That means, when Kate and I get done here and Kate says, Danny, do you have any questions for me? Well, yeah, I'd like to know, Kate, what is it that keeps you up at night? What is the worry that you have about SCEP that makes you so that you can't finish your dinner? Sometimes you're so worried about it. I'd love to help you with that problem. Well, and then she gives you the answer, and you say, that's wonderful. I understand what you're saying. And then you say, just lastly, in closing, do you mind telling me, Kate, what are the next steps? What do we do next now? What's coming up next? Or you call me, I call you? Should I wait a week to call you? What are the next steps that I should be expecting now from this interview? You're totally in the right to ask for next steps. Do you agree or disagree, Kate?
I agree. Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure that,
Let me add one thing about that, asking the next step. It creates within the person that's doing the interview an expectation on their part that you need to know what's next. And that's it, from a mental standpoint on the part of the interviewer, it makes them more committed to you as an individual. They can't just blow you off.
okay, we'll make that point number 14, because that's excellent advice, Neil. Thank you. Thank you very much. And then we've got there, leave a handwritten thank you note. If you can, go out in your car and or go out and sit in the atrium or whatever it is there at the business. Have a little thank you note. You can make those on a computer. You can handwrite a little note that says, Kate, thank you for the last 30 minutes that we just spent together. I really enjoyed learning about SCEP. I hope we can speak soon, and please call if you need anything else. Address it to the person, and go leave it with the administrative assistant or the person at the front desk, and say, whenever it's convenient, please, would you deliver this to Kate? It's just a little thank you note that I wanted her to have, because I had such a nice interview with her. It's important that you say thank you in just a little, and if you need to, folks, an email is not, and Kate and Neil may argue with me on this one, but I think even a little email, if you don't have a card, if you don't have the ability to get a card, if you're just not in a situation where you can give them a handwritten card, a short email is, I think very acceptable. I get emails frequently from people that I've interviewed that say, Elder Brock, President Brock, Bishop Brock, whatever. It was great to meet with you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear from you. For me, a little email is just fine. So, Kate, what do you think? Neil, what do you think about handwritten versus email?
I think in today's day and age, the email communication directly to an interviewer is very appropriate, and it just needs to be short and sweet. You don't want to make any long dissertation, but just a short and sweet saying thank you, and it brings you back to the top of their awareness. And that's what you're trying to do, is to keep on the top of their minds.
Kate, you feel the same? Kate's gone.
Yes, I do. My
Kate's back.
internet cut out there for a minute, so I missed this, but if we're still talking about thank you notes, then I agree. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
I
we're still
missed about the last minute.
we're on handwritten versus email. Either
Yeah.
or both. Not both at the same time, but either or.
Yeah, I think where the opportunity is there to be able to write a handwritten note, I think it's a kind gesture. And I think in my own life, when I receive handwritten notes versus emails, the handwritten ones always mean more. So I think it just shows a little extra touch of nice.
Okay, thank you. Neil, have we got another slide?
Okay. Let's see, how do I move? There we go to the next one.
Okay, and so what the interviewer, employer expects, next one. They're going to expect that you'll be on time. They're going to expect that you have come prepared for the interview. They want to see some confidence. That's where the practice comes in. They want you to speak up. Don't mumble. Don't put your hands on your face. Don't chew your fingernails. Sit up. Don't slouch. Show your best side. Number 5, they're expecting to find. This is true. I've asked a lot of companies. Every interview they have, they're expecting to find their next superstar. They're not expecting to find their next mediocre employee. They're not interviewing to find someone to replace someone on the bottom. They're expecting every time they interview someone that person's going to bring with them the knowledge and expertise and the ability to be their next superstar. So that's what you should have in the back of your mind, that you're going to be talking to someone that's looking for something very high quality. You are the product and you're selling yourself. He wants you to be truthful and honest. They want to see that you're motivated. They want to see that you get along with others, that you're a team player. And if you're not a team player, turn into one quickly. If you know that that's a fault that you have, that you'd rather be alone than with other people. Now, in the computer world, that might work. You know, some of you will like to work back in the back, over in the corner, at this table right back here at Danny's office. You might like that. But just make sure that you know that, or that interviewer knows that you get along with people and you can help your teammates. That interviewer is going to expect that you're a good listener in that interview. Listen more than you speak, and that you don't appear desperate. That again, another death nail in your casket is that you appear, you know, that you, please, Kate, I've got to have this. I know that sounds like I'm making it up, but it's all too common. Don't appear desperate. Appear strong. Appear like you're ready to be their next superstar. Next, Neil. Here's what the interviewer knows. Number 1, they know how you feel about you within the first 7 seconds. That's the truth. When you show someone this resume, or when they get this off of their computer, or if Neil, have you talked much about those scanning applications that a company will run their resumes through and electronically? I'm forgetting the initials. That Kate, what are they? They're electronic scanners of your resume, and they look for keywords. And if you don't have the right keywords for that particular job, it kicks it out.
I'm not sure electronic scanners, we use AI. You know,
Yeah,
there
there
are
it is.
AI platforms that
Yep.
can
Yep.
help filter.
Same thing. There's machinery that scans either physically or electronically. They scan your resume, and they are looking for words that are keywords to that description that they have put in their job posting. For example, Boldahar here has he's passionate about connecting people. He's an idea person. He leverages his expertise. He's impactful, storytelling. Those are words that could be in the job description. And if it is, make sure that you work that word into your resume so that when it gets scanned, this goes into the to be interviewed pile and not pitched into the file drawer. So make sure that we lost did we lose Neil?
I think we lost Neil. I'm not sure, maybe an internet thing.
We're about to run out of time. In fact, we may be over time. I don't know. But my dear folks, if Neil comes on, we'll click through him. But please, you can get to me. Well, let me put. Kate, can you type as fast as I talk? If you want to put my name in the chat.
I can do that.
Danny Brock, BROCK. My cell number is 801
Mm-hmm.
884
Mm-hmm.
9555. My link, or not my LinkedIn. I'll tell you what, brothers and sisters, if you'll go to LinkedIn, do you guys know what LinkedIn is? Have you got a LinkedIn? Okay, go to LinkedIn, put in Danny Brock, BYU-Hawaii, and request that you can get to be a part of my profile and my list. I've got about 3,000 connections, and if you get on with me, you've got access to those connections. So as a little bit of a gift to you, Daryl.Brock at BYU.edu. Did you get that okay, Kate?
Is Daryl Derrill?
Darrell.
Darrill?
Darrell.
Oh, okay.
Darrell.Brock at BYU.edu. That's my email here at work. You've got my cell number, you've got my name, you've got my invitation to get onto LinkedIn. I'm not going to chase you, but if you chase me, that's great. And remind me, Elder Brock, I was on the call the other day. I'd like to be a part of your network. And you'll have access. Kate, Neil, the same to you. Neil, have we lost our slides?
Well, I think I can get them back if I'm given permission again. I don't know what
Okay,
happened there.
never mind then. We're over time.
Oh, okay.
We can send them out and they'll have access to the slides as well and the recording.
Okay.
What does that mean? You want to stay and talk about it, or we're done?
No, we can go ahead and send the slides to the students.
Okay.
And they'll have access to all of them, plus the recording.
Folks, remember that those slides were made for students at a university. If there are things that just don't apply to your job search, click the next button and go to the next slide. But out of those three presentations that I sent to Neil, I think you'll find some things that you can pull from. Neil, you can even pull different ones into a whole nother PowerPoint and have it be very specific to what you're doing. We can talk about resumes sometime. I did want to show you about the LDS Church Employment Services. Let me, if I may, just one other thing. May I just take one other thing?
Absolutely. And if you do need to go, we're aware of the hour and also bandwidth. So if you do need to go, this is recorded and you can access it later. But go ahead, Danny.
Okay, I'm gonna put something in the I'm gonna put a link into Neil's email. Neil, I'll get it to you here in a minute. I've got these different screens that have gone wacky on me. I'm my own worst enemy. Did I? Oh, I'm back. I'll get it. I'm going to put a link, Neil, or or Kate, you can send this link out as well. So in fact, Kate, do me a favor, send me an email,
You bet.
and then I'll have access to you, and we'll all be good friends.
That's perfect. I'll send you an email right after this.
Can I say how much, Neil, thank you for asking me to do this. This is my world. I've been blessed. This is one, like I said, this is one of the 3 things that I do pretty good. I just appreciate, I pray for you, love you already. So thanks for letting me come. Neil, thanks. Kate, thanks to all of you for allowing me to take an hour of your day.
Thank you, Danny. We sure appreciate it. We've been saving you for this very special day.
Okay, thank you.
Much, Danny. If you are available to turn on your camera just for a minute, it's always fun to see your faces. But
Turn the camera around.
oh no,
No.
we can see yours just for our friends in Africa if they're around. I know it is getting late at night, so it may be dark, but it's always good to see your faces. Thank you so much for coming, and Danny, thank you so much for presenting. I'm excited to connect with you.
Maloha.
And as we do it, Skip, big hugs all around. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.